Hello, welcome to Battle of the Ports. In the year 2034, Earth has been invaded by hostile aliens. The Maverick 6 is the last surviving unit of Earth's defense forces. It is mankind's last hope of repelling the invasion. Here comes the Majestic 12, otherwise known as Super Space Invaders 91 from Taito. Actually, despite it being called 91, it was actually released in 1990 on the F2 arcade board. Super Space Invaders 91 features the classic Invaders gameplay, but adds a slew of new alien invaders and power-ups to the mix, along with vastly improved graphics. The original game's flying saucer still makes an appearance, but instead of merely awarding bonus points when shot, as in the original game, it now drops a powered-up pod. Powered-ups include a shield, faster shots, a laser, a homing attack, and a giant butterfly, which freezes the invaders for a limited time. One of the game's most memorable features is the cattle mutilation bonus screen, in which the player must protect the herd of cattle from a number of fast-moving sources, intent on stealing the animals. If a cow is snatched, the player must shoot the relevant saucer to free it, being careful not to actually shoot the cow itself. The 91 incarnation also introduces bosses to the series for the first time, giant screen-filling aliens that require several shots to kill. Another major difference to the previous games in the series is that if an invader reaches the bottom of the screen, the player will simply lose a ship. In the original, the game would end once the alien had landed. Also, the player's ship now comes equipped with a shield that can withstand several hits. The shield's strength is depleted every time it takes a direct hit from one of the invaders, and too many hits will result in the shield depleting altogether. A direct hit on an unshielded ship will result in the loss of a player life. Overall, Space Invaders 91 is quite the upgrade over the original, but at the end of the day, if you didn't enjoy the original, you're probably not gonna enjoy this one. The first part was to the Amiga, and man, this really outdoes the arcade game in terms of presentation. There are two intros along with a completely different storyline. The game, however, is not as impressive. The issue is that the frame rate is abysmal when the screen is full of enemies. It's not until 3/4 of them are gone does the frame rate really pick up. A real shame, but it will be interesting to see how the other ports stack up. Atari ST also got a port, but sadly no matter how many versions of the game I tried, they all had the second disc that would not run. This means I can't show you the actual game, but I suspect it was identical to the Amiga. At least this intro on disc 1 is. MS-DOS time, and again it has the same intro as the Amiga and ST. The game is also the same as the Amiga, minus the nasty frame rate. This MS-DOS version does slow down, but it's preferable to a lower frame rate. Sadly, the audio isn't a patch on the Amiga version, even when using the Roland MT option. On to the 8-bit home computers, starting with the ZX Spectrum. Well, it was a brave attempt, but sadly the ZX Spectrum version is the worst so far. The speed is slow, but the main issue here is that a lot of the time you just can't see what's going on as everything blends in with each other. Also, the branching paths seem to be missing from this version. Amstrad CPC time now, with a version that resembles the ZX Spectrum in speed, but thankfully is a little easier on the eyes when it comes to tracking the enemies and their firepower. Still a bit slow to be entertaining, but again a brave effort just like the Specky. Now this is a surprise. The Commodore 64 port is really good. The game runs at a nice clear resolution with really colourful graphics that move silky smooth. We also get the branching paths from the arcade game and actual arcade presentation. The only point of real criticism with this port is that the audio is rather weak. In 1992, the Kremlin, a team within Denmark, ported Super Space Invaders 91 over to the Sega Master System. It's a fairly good port that retains the branching paths and advanced mode. Kinda like the Commodore 64 version, the audio is a bit weak, especially during gameplay, but there are a few good tunes here and there. Super Space Invaders 91 also came to the Game Gear, but it was ported by Text. Oh shit. Is this going to be bad like 95% of their output, or is there a glimmer of hope this could be within their 5% that isn't a steaming pile? Well, believe it or not, this may actually be better than the Master System version it is based upon. Sure, the Master System intro is missing, but the actual game looks cleaner. Text have altered the graphics to appeal more to the Game Gear's screen and advanced colour capabilities. The game also feels a bit tighter to play. Whoever would have thought a Game Gear version of a Master System game would be better than the original, never mind one ported by Text. And let's take a look at all those versions of Majestic 12 or Super Space Invaders 91 running side by side.